Hello, hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your November 2022 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. Before we jump in, I do want to apologize for my absence during the month of October. You guys, I was really just dealing with my own personal healing. Lots of things were coming up for me to be healed and dealt with and worked through, and even just simply to be shown to me. But that doesn't mean that I still didn't have to process them, right? And so last month was a bit of a doozy for me. That being said, I'm going to make up for it with our reading for this month because we're going to take a look back in time at the month of October to see what we've learned and how we've grown. So I'm really excited to do this reading for you guys today. Let's jump right in and see what's going on for us this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, what did we learn in October 2022, please? Oh, that's too many. Nice, clear message. What did we learn in October 2022, please? What did we learn in October 2022? So before I continue, I just want to say that I typically only take jumpers. There are times that I feel called to pull some out of the deck, but that doesn't happen all of the time. That being said, if you would like to, I'm going to leave a timestamp in the description box below so that you can skip ahead, okay? All right, so what did we learn in October, please? Thank you. Okay. And how have we grown from what we've learned, please? How have we grown from what we've learned in October? Thank you. Yes, and this one as well. Okay. What's coming in for us for the month of November 2022, please? What's coming in for us for the month of November 2022? Thank you. How will this help us moving forward, please? How might this help us moving forward? Yes. Okay. And what guidance do we need moving forward, please? What guidance do we need? Thank you. Are there? Yes, okay. What guidance? Thank you. Oh, that's so interesting. The card that just came out, thank you. I actually saw it while I was shuffling. At least I think I did. The front of it anyways. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, let me just set all of these aside and we'll jump right in. All right, so what did we learn in October 2022? We have here whispers of Mother Earth, creativity, ideas, inspiration, artist, writer, and channel. So with this energy currently, what I'm picking up is for some of you, I feel like there's a level of inspiration here, but it doesn't feel to me so much like inspiration in the sense of creating something, in the sense of like, you know, writing a book or like creating some piece of like artistry. It doesn't really feel that way to me, though it could apply once I kind of get into this energy. So it feels to me that in the month of October, we may have gotten this boost or this, I don't know, it feels kind of like a charge or a force behind. Okay, so like this inspiration to be who we are, right? And that could potentially mean for some, stepping into the fact that they are some sort of artist, a writer, a channeler, right? Things like this. There's some that I feel may have been called to step into that, but it's due to, I feel, this inspiration to be exactly who you are, right? It feels to me like many of us have been getting these whispers of like, hey, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing, or hey, this person just isn't right in your life, or hey, this environment is not good for you, or this addiction or this habit that you have is not good for you, right? I feel like many people are being inspired or were through the month of October inspired to just step into who they are more fully, which is really, really interesting. It feels to me like there's a certain level of being open to hearing these things and contemplating them at the very least, right? It feels to me like there's some sort of messages that have been coming in, and it's like, okay, I'm hearing them. I am, acknowledging them. That doesn't necessarily mean that you've moved on them, okay, for some of you, but I know that it's there. I know that this is something that I need to acknowledge, that I need to eventually address, right? Stuff like that. So I feel like the month of October was like that for many of us. I know for myself, it definitely was this more inspired to stand in my power, inspired to stand in who I am. And that's not to say that I really wasn't before, but it's a different level. It's a more, I'm at home in all of the different facets of myself type of energy. And I think that that's really beautiful, right? And for those of you who are artists or writers or channelers, right? I really do feel like this inspiration that or the yes, the inspiring force behind those things, I feel, is to better align you with your purpose, right? Obviously, if you're a channeler, that can come across in many different ways, and that could be beneficial to humanity. As a writer, right, maybe you feel called to write truth and to write from your heart, to express love, right? And I don't mean like love like between two people. I just mean love, right? And when I think of love, I think of like the embodiment of Jesus, right? Loving your fellow man, loving the planet, loving this experience. And I feel like there's an element of that, or there could be, or of unity within your writings or within the inspired ideas that come through. I feel like there's an element of that within those things. But again, take it as it resonates with you. We also have here for the month of October the Mystic Rose: compassion, devotion, humility, humanity, and grace. So I do feel like we have experienced in the month of October this element of understanding that we are human beings, right? There's an element of, I'm not a fucking machine. I am not meant to slave away at a job that I can't stand for not as much compensation for what I'm putting into it. And that, to me, like that's not how a human being is supposed to operate. I'm not supposed to neglect my own well-being to slave away for someone else. And I feel like many people are coming to this conclusion. I feel like many people are starting to kind of wake up to this, like, this is not what life is supposed to be like, right? And there's this element of compassion towards fellow man through the month of October, right? Seeing them as like, these are just people like me, right? And that I'm not saying that this applies to everyone, but if you found your way here, this might apply to you. You may have rather started to see your fellow human being as a soul, as someone who, knows no more what they're doing than what you do. And so there's a level of compassion, a level of grace, and seeing the humanity in ourselves and in other people. Okay. I also feel like in the month of October, there could have been, for some of you, an adoption of a new habit or a new something where it almost feels to me like this. I feel like I should be doing this, or I feel like I need to do this. So maybe you started, and it's interesting because I don't think I would typically get this energy, or it's not something I've typically gotten from, especially from this card. But it's this element of like being devoted to yourself in the sense of I need to do these things for me because this is what's best for me. So perhaps it's something as simple as like meditating, doing yoga, praying, making sure, I don't know, maybe you take a bath every single night, or, you know what I'm saying? Like being more devoted to yourself, going to the gym, eating better, right? It just feels to me like there's an element through the month of October of acknowledging what it is we need and being devoted to that because it's an improvement on our life. And for those who utilize like prayer and meditation, it is, and I'm talking like regularly, okay? I'm not talking once in a blue moon. I'm not talking once whenever they feel like it, right? I'm talking those that are actually devoted to that practice. They will tell you that it has made a grand improvement in their life, typically, right? So I find that really interesting. I do feel like I want to read the book on this. It's not something that I do super, super often, but more recently, even in my membership, I've been feeling called to dive into the book a bit because I feel like there are these additional messages that come through with the guidebook definitions. So let's take a look and see what's coming through with this particular card. Okay, so it says here, the rose was a symbol of the goddess of old. So it's no wonder that when Christianity absorbed large parts of the indigenous Celtic traditions in Europe, the mother goddess, Mother Mary, became associated with the rose. Perhaps the reason Mary is so beloved is because because she was the only mother goddess who could be worshipped safely, and as such carries with her the devotion and yearning of all those who longed to worship the goddess in a feminine form. Mary's connection with the rose is seen in some of her titles, including Rosa Mystica, the mystic rose, and the rose without thorns. Like those of the pagan goddesses before her, the processions that honored Mary involved walking on rose petals. The church altered the stories of goddesses past, including those that featured roses, such as Aphrodite turning the white rose red with her blood, putting Mary in the goddess's place. Churches were erected all over Europe and beyond, in many cases on the site of Celtic temples and places of goddess worship. Many had beautiful rose windows in the west, the direction of the feminine, in dedication to Mary, Mother of the Rose. This is a card of compassion, devotion, and grace. It encourages us to soften toward humanity and to endeavor to see the world and even those who have hurt us with understanding, an open heart, and deep humility. To see that we all carry hurt and are wounded. We have all experienced severing. Mother Mary is inviting you to open your heart to humanity when you most want to close. How are you being called to show compassion today? Yeah, so again, right, like I was saying, it's this element of seeing the humanity in everyone, right? Being compassionate toward everyone and opening your heart to that. And I think that that's really beautiful. And I do feel like we have taken a step in that direction through the month of October. But it's interesting to me because I feel like for some of us, there's an element of learning how to do this for yourself, right? It's like, in order for me to be compassionate to other people, like genuinely compassionate and to give them grace, I need to be able to learn how to do that with myself, right? For some, that won't apply to everyone. But I do feel that there's an interesting dynamic to this in the sense of, for some of us, we've opened our hearts to others and are expressing compassion and seeing that they're a soul having a human experience, that none of us really know what we're doing. We're all wounded, right? And there's seeing that and embodying that, but also giving back to ourselves and recognizing that there are some individuals that we no longer align with, right? And that doesn't mean that we don't love them. That doesn't mean that we don't care for them. That doesn't mean that we feel any kind of, aversion to them in the sense of, like they've wronged us in some way. It's just this, we are no longer aligned. It's nothing personal, but I can no longer carry on this relationship. So it's really interesting, but I feel like it's beautiful at the same time because it is showing that compassion to self, right? And giving self grace. Like, I don't have to put up with this stuff. I need to be compassionate to myself too. And my being compassionate is looking at myself the way I would look at someone else in my same situation. This is not okay. So again, take it as it resonates. So how have we grown? Let's see how we've grown. We've learned to breathe. We've learned to slow down, right? And it's, again, it's that same energy that I was picking up on earlier of, I'm not a machine. I'm not supposed to just be here, work myself to death for, measly compensation and then die. That is not how this is supposed to go. Even if it's not, and you may be experiencing this in your external reality with other people, even if it's not something they attribute to like spirituality or soul journey or anything like that, it could simply just be people in your reality that are like, this is not how life is supposed to go. Right. But I feel like this is something that we've grown through the month of October. And I feel like we've learned how to look at ourselves and say, I need to give myself the ability to just breathe, to process, to integrate things, to, be introspective and to take some time to reflect on myself and give myself the opportunity to just be where I'm at. Right. And even myself, like, this is something that I went through last month. I fought with myself about doing an October Tarotscope collection for the month of October. Right. And I had friends of mine, and if you're listening, you're probably going to laugh. But I had friends of mine who are like, we're still waiting for the October Tarotscope. I'm like, me too. Right. But everything in me is like, no. And I was genuinely going to like make myself do it. And then there came a point where it's like, that's not how this is supposed to go. So again, I feel like we're giving ourselves the permission now to breathe. And that's how we've grown. Interesting, because we have chopped wood here as well. I feel like we've also grown because I feel like we've recognized that there needs to be a balance, right? There needs to be a balance between us taking this time for us to nurture and care for ourselves, to give ourselves that time to just breathe and process and all the things. But there's also time needed to put the work in, right? To actually do the work. We cannot grow simply by posting memes about spiritual growth. That's not how this works. And if you thought so, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, right? But this takes work. And to be quite honest with you, just sitting and breathing and allowing yourself to be introspective and to be where you are, whatever the fuck that looks like, that's work. Why, Amber? Why is it work to just sit? Because we've been programmed that if we're just sitting, if we're giving ourselves the time to replenish our spirit, our energy, our emotions, right? Like our physical bodies, we're taught that that's lazy, unproductive. You have no value, right? So it is work to actually sit and be alone with your own thoughts, to sit in silence, to give yourself permission to just breathe, right? But again, we do have work that needs to be put in order for us to grow. And I feel like we've learned that. I feel like we've learned that there needs to be balance between the two. And we owe it to ourselves to create that balance. You guys, this is pretty freaking powerful because I feel like we've learned a lot. Even though there are only 5 cards here representing what we've learned and how we've grown, it feels like a lot to me because a lot of these things I feel are deep-seated things. They're things that are shifting within our very being that have the potential as we move forward right through the month of November, December, and beyond to really empower us and to propel us forward and to align us that much more with who we're supposed to be. Look at this. We have milk and honey. So here's the thing. I feel like October brought for us this acknowledgement of ourselves, this realization that we do need to not only look out for our fellow man, but also look out for ourselves. And I feel like bringing this balance, and for some of you, not everyone, you may have even experienced this kind of milk and honey, the payoff, as it were, for doing the things. And it may not have shown up in the way that you think, right? Maybe some of you are like, wait a minute, I didn't get no big reward. I didn't get no, fantastical, life-changing thing that happened. But maybe you did, right? Maybe you did. It just hasn't integrated yet. Or maybe you did receive a lot of things for the work that was done. You just didn't attribute it to that. So for example, this is going to sound, I don't know, maybe some of you will be like, whatever, but that's fine. So for me, for example, I have a Poshmark closet, right? And it was at a standstill for what felt like forever, right? And I'm like trying to get things going and posting and sharing and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden we jump into October and there's all these things coming up and I'm dealing with them as they come and following my intuition and listening to what I'm getting. And all of a sudden I start making sales left and freaking right. Just like that. Now, it's not like a tremendous amount of profit that I've made from this, okay? But it is showing. If you allow yourself to flow with life, the rewards are there are rewards to be had, right? Again, I do feel like I want to read this particular card. Let me just jump in my box over here. Oh, and get this book out without destroying the whole table. Okay, I'm going to read the oracle message for this card. I feel like that's the one we need to be reading. Right here. Okay. So this says here, milk and honey represents the taste of prosperity, opportunities born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, and trusting that your needs will be met. You've entered a sweet time in your life, enjoying the land of milk and honey that everyone wants to experience. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious. When all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. Oh my gosh, let me try to read that sentence again because no. It's an interlude that feels more languid than ambitious when all your senses are awake to the unlimited possibilities in the universe. These times are precious and only come when you're in your authentic zone, wearing the world as a loose garment, not wanting, yet able to be nourished in ways both tangible and subtle. Abundance is an energy that you are a living part of. All your needs are being met. You are given the gift of nourishment in every form. Okay, so again, last month, I feel like we were given certain things. It could have came in the form of this inspiration. It could have come in the form of being more devoted to yourself. your spirituality, your soul growth, being able to balance breathing and working, integration and activation, right? That's how this is showing up. And I feel like learning how to do that and sticking to it, right? I feel like is bringing in rewards. And again, it doesn't have to be something grandiose. It can be something as simple as you've learned to love your reflection in the mirror. When you've spent your whole life looking at it and, feeling some type of discomfort, whether that be, I don't like the shape of my body, I don't like how much I weigh, I don't like, whatever it is. I feel like there have been these steps that we've taken or that we've been aligned with where we've experienced milk and honey again in subtle ways and in the physical world as well, right? So spiritually growing and then also experiencing some of these things coming in your physical reality. And it could be something as simple as I need help to move this and this, or to accomplish this, and then all of a sudden, like, the help shows up, you have support, right? Again, take it as it resonates with you, but that is how I'm picking up this energy. So let's see what's coming in for us for the month of November. We have star bathing, light body, crystal grid transmission and activation. How powerful is that? Here's the thing about the month of November. In numerology, the month of November is a universal 8 month, which means, as far as 8s are concerned, mastery, accomplishment, action, achievement, rebirth, changes, like these are all energies of your 8, okay? And it's funny because we have that activation in the sense of we're actually changing things, right? And I feel throughout this month, there's something here for some. I feel there's this calling towards something higher, something more than what you've been doing, okay? It could be a new job, a new living situation. It could be a new practice, learning something new, right? Becoming certified in things or something like that. Like, it just feels like, okay, we need to take whatever step is next for our growth, right? To better align us with our purpose. That's what it feels like to me, or to essentially like awaken us to more of what we're supposed to be doing here. I also feel like for a lot of you, you could be this month getting messages in your dreams, right? Having things come in as you sleep or as you meditate or pray, right? When I'm seeing it as like when your eyes are closed. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to apply to everyone, right? And it definitely probably won't. But I feel like there's an element here of dreams kind of kicking up and being more vivid, being able to remember more of them, right? Because I feel like there are messages that are coming in your dreams to try to help you, again, better align, to be more in that soul purpose energy, right? To better align with that. I feel like it could get interesting. I mean, I like, because it feels to me like there's some who haven't had a whole lot of experience getting these types of things, right? And perhaps the things that show up in dream state or meditative state, or even just if you're getting it in your, day-to-day life. I want to lovingly say, like, I get intuitive messages when I'm just minding my own business, doing God knows what, right? Dishes, laundry, vacuuming, whatever. And it'll come in while I'm just doing my own damn thing. And it's like, oh, I need a pen. I have to write this down. Right. And so, whenever it comes in, I just feel like for some, this is not something that everyone's used to. Right. And so it could be a bit jarring, a bit, I want to say traumatic, because it doesn't feel that heavy, okay? But it does feel jarring. It feels like, whoa, what is this? Hold on a minute. And maybe a little bit like, am I losing my mind? Okay, because I feel like some of you could be hearing things like that aren't discernible, right? Or hearing things, but there's nothing in your physical reality to explain it, or getting what I would refer to as like visions, pictures of things coming into your mind that maybe you don't understand. Again, that could be in dream state, but I just feel like these transmissions are coming in heavily in the month of November. And I feel like a big part of this is because we're going through this rebirth as a collective. And I do feel like now is the time for the movement to be taking place, the changes to be implemented to further move us towards this, what I've been getting in my membership readings, this soul sovereignty. I mean, that's really been a reoccurring theme in the membership group. It's like, over and over and over again, all of these things are coming in that are trying to help us to get more into alignment with being a sovereign soul. So I think this is really beautiful. And I love that it's coming in. I'm excited, right? Like, I'm like, ooh, what activations am I getting next? Right? So that's pretty exciting to me. Let's see what we have. What else? Yeah, I kind of figured I would see something like this from one of these decks. We do have Breath of the Cosmos, My Will to Thy Will, Micromanaging the Universe. So again, kind of riding the coattails of this soul sovereignty, I feel like a big part of this is that surrender, right? Not trying to control all the things, understanding like, I can't control this, I can't control that, this doesn't concern me, this doesn't concern me. I'm not going to try to micromanage the universe because God, the universe source, is a master and knows what he's doing. All I have to do is show up, right? And what I mean by that is all I have to do is when God says go, I fucking go. When God says keep your ass like set right there, then that's what I do, right? That's all you're responsible for. And obviously, like talking to, praying, meditating, taking care of yourself. But in the sense of making things happen, that's it, right? This whole trying to micromanage the universe in the sense of I need to control all the facets, all the different variables, is just us taking on more weight and more burden than what's necessary, right? We end up carrying things that aren't meant for us to carry in the first place, right? Some of these things that we've carried, it is meant for God to carry them, right? Like we're meant to, oh, that's okay. Here, let's just give that back to God, right? And there's a lot of times that I do that myself. Like, Lord, I don't know what this is, but you can have it. You figure it out. Let me know what I need to do if I need to do anything, right? And I feel, again, throughout the month of November, it's going to be this continuation of moving more into that soul sovereignty. And again, part of that is putting down burdens that we're not meant to be carrying, that are just creating this density or heaviness within us, right? So I love that because it's like surrender to the creator, allow the divine creator, source, whatever you want to refer to it as, to do what it needs to do in order to make things happen, right? More often than not, when we think we know better, we really fucking don't. Right? And even if we did, we probably wouldn't do it because we're so fucking stubborn. So, it's like this element of like your divine father, your divine creator knows better than you. So let it work. Let it do its work for you, for the collective, for the planet. There are certain things that need to happen in order for other things to happen. And sometimes that can look chaotic. Sometimes that can look even violent, but it has to happen in order for the things that follow to take place, right? So throughout this month, there is this message here of not trying to control things. Surrender and see what happens. I mean, what could go wrong? right? I mean, if you're anything like me, you've tried to control the things and you've seen where that's gotten you, right? So, how will this help us moving forward? Well, interesting. I feel like this is going to help us moving forward by, first of all, helping us to shed this doubt that we have about ourselves. I feel like many of us have been carrying this doubt for so long because we've been carrying shit we're not supposed to be fucking carrying. And then we sit and wonder, like, why aren't things changing? Why aren't things getting better? Why doesn't this feel better? Why can't I seem to move on? Why do I keep experiencing the same things over and over and over again? It's because we're sitting in this energy of doubt, this energy of also like pride, because oh, like I can make it happen. I don't need anybody. You know what I'm saying? And it's the reality of it is, excuse me, that that's not true. You have no reason to doubt yourself. You are an incredibly powerful being. Incredibly fucking powerful. You have no idea how powerful you are. You really don't. And I feel like what's coming in this month is going to help us moving forward to rid ourselves of this doubt, to rid ourselves of the pride that we need to be able to. And here's the thing, like, I want to lovingly say, yes, you can do anything you put your mind to, but that, again, that does not mean that you are a robot. It doesn't mean you're a machine. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel certain feelings. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be tested and challenged and maybe want to give up. It's not what it means, right? It means that anything that you face, you're going to have belief in yourself, right? It means that you're going to take all of what you experience, no matter what that looks like, even if it looks like you bawling your fucking eyeballs out for an hour in your bathroom, you're going to look at that and see it as strength, not as weakness. That's how I'm picking up this energy. Like, how is it going to help us moving forward? We are going to be getting rid of these energies, moving away from that doubt, moving away from that pride, moving away from feeling like we're weak because we can't carry all the things or because we're feeling, right? And at the same time, it's going to help us face our fears and move out of this energy of like cowardice. Damn. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So moving forward, I feel like we're no longer going to work without reward. We're not going to dump energy into things that we don't need. We don't have no business fucking putting our energy into in the first place. Very much like this breath of the cosmos here, right? From my will to thy will. I'm not going to fucking take on the shit that ain't meant for me. Why would I do that? That doesn't help me in any way. That doesn't help me align with my purpose. That doesn't help me align with the better version of me. All that's going to do is wear me down. Right? I also feel like moving forward, we are no longer going to like obsess over the material things like money. Now, I'm not saying we're there yet, but I feel moving forward, this is where we're headed. Ooh. Damn, the wheel in reverse too. This is so funny to me, right? Because I feel like we're also moving out of clinging to control. Isn't that hilarious? With the freaking breath of the cosmos here, right? With this wheel in reverse. So we're moving forward without this need to control everything. We're moving forward in a way where we feel okay not having control. Right? And I also want to say that I feel like for many of us, when we surrender and we turn over that my will to thy will, giving it back to the creator, then we essentially end up feeling like our string of bad luck, if you resonate with that, has come to an end. Because it's like I no longer feel weighed down. I no longer feel so dense. I no longer feel so like everything is just wild, right? You start to regain this sense of almost like a balance because you put down weight that you weren't meant to be carrying anyways. It's a sense of like relief, right? I also feel like there's an element here of us no longer allowing the wheel to control everything, right? Like I feel like we're essentially taking our destiny into our hands by realizing how powerful we truly are. Four of Wands in the reverse. This is, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're moving away from feeling like we don't have the support we need, right? Because we're moving more into this energy of the universe is going to support me in any way that I need to be supported, right? So I no longer have to worry about that lack of support. I also feel that as we move more into our oh my gosh, excuse me, into our authentic self, my gosh, there are going to be less conflicts around our home and things like that because we're going to just be in who we are, and those that aren't meant to stick around are going to fall away anyways. Right? So but more, I guess, the stronger of the messages coming through is literally no longer feeling like we're unsupported. Oh my gosh. And it's going to help us create a brand new fucking beginning. Are you serious right now? Hell yes, I will claim that shit right here, right now. This is glorious. I love this. It's going to help us move forward. Literally move forward with a new beginning. Looking at the world in a completely different way, falling into the arms of the universe, knowing it's going to catch us. I love this. I love it. I'm fucking here for it. If you're here for it, put it in the comments, because hell yeah. All right, so guidance moving forward. This card here says you are magic, and there's like a unicorn on the front. Dear you, there is only one you, and you have a unique place in the universe. Sometimes situations come up that challenge you to be authentic, and that means you will have to be fully yourself and not let go of being what you think others may want. Now is not the time to conform to other people's standards or expectations. Be proud of who you are and be courageous. Stand tall in your convictions. Being yourself is such a powerful statement and will only lead you to success and ultimately happiness. Don't compare yourself to other people. Want what you have, choose what your heart wants, and know that your purpose is yours alone. No one else can claim your magic nor take it away. When you place authenticity and originality high on your list of priorities and give them a prominent place in your awareness, extraordinary things happen. Your life is a beautiful one. Loving you always and forever. Right? So this is a message of standing in your authenticity, being exactly who you are unapologetically. Again, soul sovereignty. We have celebrate life, and there's like some sort of being playing some sort of musical instrument there. The message here is, dearest wonderful you, to help you manifest a life for the highest good, we invite you to examine your deepest desires and release any fear around them. That's not on the card, but that's what I just picked up. Imagine all your desires, no matter what kind, like magic seed pods in a basket, glowing with infinite potential. Look closely at each one. Are you afraid that some may bring you too much attention and invite negative reactions from others? Is change too daunting? Are you afraid to stretch and grow? Let yourself be led forward and let the seeds of positive intention take the wind. Your desires count and you are worthy of them. They are essential for co-creating your world. Did you ever consider that when a desire comes from deep within you, it might be spirit moving you to create something beautiful to share with others? Some desires are infused with miraculous powers to move the heart and influence the world in ways you can't possibly know. We know you and love you so deeply and are so happy to support you. So again, it's that energy of moving forward, allowing yourself to change, right? Surrendering to the universe and letting these seeds blossom. Glorious. And the final card here says with love, with a like a hummingbird on the front. Dearest you, we bet you must be so exhausted some days, giving as much as you do. Sharing your energy so beautifully in service to the highest good can leave you feeling depleted, like an empty well. If it feels as if there's no more water for you, the good news is we have a plan. Today, go take a relaxing bath, book a massage, read a novel, buy yourself flowers, or plant some in your garden. Make time for self care, not more work on yourself. By tending to yourself now, you are reminded to do so more often. And be sure to use a word that might have caused you anxiety in the past, but is essential for your well-being now. No. Say it with us. No, thank you. No, I can't. You or no, I can't. You do not have to explain. Just say no, gently but firmly. Then go for a soak. Life will wait for you to bring yourself back to center, replenished, and ready for more adventure. We love you so very much. So again, there's a message of making sure we're taking care of ourselves and catering to our needs because our physical vessel is so important on this journey. I really hope that something here has resonated for you. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Truly so grateful because it does help the channel to grow. So thank you for that. I'm sending you so much love and tons of hugs. Have a beautiful month, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.